Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you guys my Megacolony Ghidorah deck profile for February 2018. With the release of Awakening Zoo, we got a whole bunch of new support for the Megacolony Darkface deck, and I thought why not, I'd bring you guys a deck profile. Really aggressive now with the new Ghidorah Break Stride and the amazing new support we received for the grade 2s, 1s, and all the other ones. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off with the stride zone, I only have one Obatyrondus, but this card is probably one of the best strides in the whole G zone, just for the ability of GB2, Counterblast 2, choose a card from your hand, discard it. Your opponent cannot call his or her units to rear until the end of their opponent's next turn. So just relying on this for pressure alone can really put your opponent at a disadvantage, because meaning that they can't call rear guards if they don't have a board already established. They basically can't call anything, and they don't put any pressure on you with their attacks. So most of the time they'll just have to rely on their Vanguard for that attack, saving you cards in your hand, and then if you can go into this again next turn and repeat the process, you're really just pushing them for that aggressive onslaught that you can do with this deck. Well, it definitely would run more than just one. Just kind of pricey at the moment. Definitely bump him up to at least two. He's just way too good not to. And I also run two merciless Mutant Deity Darkface. This card, it's mostly there for specific plays against decks that have very important rear guards, where you can take care of those units with this card and not have to worry about them next turn. That's his biggest rely on, plus that first turn in go into can get your GV2 active fast if you don't have any other stride options to go into. But most of the time you'd want to go into the new Gen Rare that we received in the latest pack. It's too good not to. Just don't have any of her for the deck at the moment. But when I do get her, I'll definitely be taking out two of the stun beetle. I don't want to run four of this card in the deck, so definitely going to be wanting to run that. But I run 4 stun beetle for now, taking 2 out. Like I said, it's just like one card pressure. If you know your opponent's hand well enough and you attack into this, you can really cripple their Vanguard and take care of a lot of their basically standing problems, since they can't ride a new unit as well after that. And I also run 1 Master Swordsman Mutant Deity Anguish Sword. This is just another easy stride to go into. You counterblast 1, choose up to the same number of your units as the number of your opponent's rest units, and they get plus 4,000 to the end of the turn. If you chose 3 or more, you draw a card and countercharge 1. So it's basically that unit that you can just get some good draw and power pressure. And countercharge, taking back your resource with this card for a good first turn stride if need be. And I also run 1 of the GB8. Aside from the effect negation, which doesn't really matter for a lot of decks you go up against, you can get power for each of your opponent's rest, Vanguard, and rear guards. So all of your units getting plus 5 for each. That's incredible pressure with a lot of your units, let alone, so too good not to run. And I also have the 1 Paraspear in here, but I would most likely take this out for either another Anguish Sword or the second Obatyrondus if I were to get one, just for better plays. This card basically does the same thing but better with its power, so better to rely on that. And also the 1 Zoa, just because Z-Rare for Zoo, that game-winning pressure yet again to go into if you need it. And for the G-Guards, I run 2 Morphosian. This is the easy 10k power G-Guard that you run in the deck, just for having 2 or less stand rear guards. It's a plus 10 shield, so too good not to run. And also 2 Grisfort. I might actually reduce the Grisfort down to 1 and put in a second Relish Lady. It helps for quicker face-up cards in the G-Zone, especially if you wanted to go into your GB8 faster, get your G-Zone set up so you can go for that pressure play. That is it for the G-Zone. We'll move on to the main deck. I run 4 Evil Governor Darkface Ghidorah, your main grade 3 that you want to ride into. She has the column limit effect, in which your opponent can't call units to a specific column whenever you basically ride her or break stride over her for a counterblast of 1. And a soul blast at the beginning of the ride phase, you may pay the cost. If you do, your opponent chooses a face-up card to his or her damage, turn it face down, and then you countercharge 1. So you're basically stealing your opponent's counterblast to use for your own, which is way too good for the countercharge effect. And I also run 3 Darkface Elicides. This is a good backup for power and paralyze abilities, and what I love about it is it can be used on rearguard as well. So most of the time you will want Ghidorah on your Vanguard circle, so make sure you have Elicides on the rearguard for that power pressure of plus 10,000 and the, like I said, paralyze effect. And for grade 2s, I run 4 Light Horn Mutant Dangerous Horn. And this is a great ride target for its 10k power. All you have to do is reveal Darkface in your hand, unless he gets minus 5,000 until the end of the turn. So that's the good thing, at least. You won't be sitting on a 5k, so you'll be back to 10k. It's just going to make for a weaker attack. And also, if you have a grade 4 Vanguard with Darkface in its card name for the rearguard effect, if the number of your opponent's stand units is 1 or less, this unit gets plus 6, making it a 16k, meaning it can hit some pretty powerful attacks, can normal hit a Vanguard, and meaning also with 16k alone, it is a 10k guard for your opponent to stop this attack if it's not boosted. And also I run 4 Bulg Wasp, another power unit for plus 5, and you rest all your opponent's units and it gets plus 5 if the number of face down cards in your opponent's damage zone is 2 or more, and when it's placed on rear it gets an additional plus 2, putting it at once again 16,000 power. And the only thing that you need to require for this is Dark Device, which is very easy to get with this deck. And also I run 3 Vulgar Blister. This is the stride assistance card for the deck. It's a stride fodder from rear. You choose a Vulgar Blister from rear and retire it. It's the cost for a stride with the unit with the Dark Device, so free stride on that part. And if this unit is in the front row, all your opponent's rear guards in the same column as this unit cannot stand during your opponent's stand phase. So it really limits your opponent for what they can do. It's a rear guard, it's a weak rear guard on rear because it can be hit pretty easily, but its effect is too good not to run for that ability, let alone. And then moving on to grade 1s, I have 4 Star Shield in here for now. I do want to get the new Perfect Guard for Megacolony, since it does have the draw countercharge power to make up for it. Well, this one just has the countercharge. I want to get a full playset though before I throw it into the deck, just to keep consistency. But like I said, that and the Deli Belly that we received for Great Nature is way too good for the deck. It's awesome. We got that countercharge power and draw power, which is making up for a lot of different Perfect Guards now. So making us stay up to date with a lot of them, which is really, really cool that they keep on doing that. They only get better with each set, basically. And I also run 4 Twilight Mater, probably one of the best grade 1s in the deck. Dark Device, when this unit boosts, if you have a grade 4 Vanguard Darkface in its card name, you may have this unit get plus 3 until the end of that battle. If you do, at the end of that battle, draw a card, put this unit into your soul. So it makes up for hand consistency and soul for a lot of your other effects, including Ghidorah. So definite 4 of this. And I also run 4 Little Dorcas. This is for your consistency to grab Ghidorah, since that's the card you're going to want to have on your Vanguard circle, so early game search if need be, plus stride fodder. You don't really want to use your grade 3s if you don't have to for striding. And I also run 3 Bad Luck Star. This is the draw power, which I think is definitely needed just for protection with this deck. If you want to take out one of these and put in a Darkface, a 4th Darkface Elicides, you can do that as well. But I like the 3 of number, just like I said, and it's good for early game rush if your opponent is hitting hard, because they'll have those rest units after the attacks, and then you can get that Soul Blast for draw to make up for the guards that you did against your opponent. And then that is it for grade 1s. Moving on to grade 0s. For your starter, I run 1 Rosenberg. It has the Dark Device ability where you put into your soul until the end of the next turn. You choose one of your opponents. That unit cannot intercept, and that unit cannot be chosen by the effects of some cards. And it also has the rest this unit effect. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and rest it. So really, really good altogether for that limitation effect to have this for options. And for trigger count, I run 12 crit. I just think it's the best pressure overall. If you want to run the stand trigger, it's the Makeup Widow stand trigger. You can replace it for the vanilla crit, but 4 of the Bomb Scissor, the staple put into soul plus 5 draw. 4 Machining Tree Hopper. This is the one that you return it to the deck, choose one of your opponent's rear guards that you cannot stand during your opponent's next stand phase, and then you shuffle your deck. Way too good. One of the easiest paralyzed mechanics you can get off in the game. And also I run 4 Sharp Nail Scorpio. Like I said, this could be the one you take out if you do want to run the stand trigger. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the 12 crit. Just makes your opponent on their toes constantly. but I can see how some would want the stands just because of the big numbers you can get with a lot of the units in this deck, especially restanding them for 21k power. But once again, that is player preference. And lastly, the 4 heal trigger. I would run the new machining. I think it's either a Wasp or a Mosquito heal for the counter charge or soul charge power. But for now, Relish Girl, you do have her G-Guard in the deck, so totally usable with this unit for discard draw. But like I said, the other one is definitely better, just waiting to get a playset of that as well, just like the Perfect Guard. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Qualia out.